Good day. Thank you for joining us for today's news. If you find this helpful, please consider subscribing. We're here every day with calm, clear updates just for you.
Jamie Slater has been found responsible for the murder of Whatitiri Whakaruru at Hāwera Accommodation Complex. The incident occurred during a night of casual fun, which turned tragic when Slater stabbed Whakaruru with a chef's knife. Slater is now being detained as a special patient in a psychiatric hospital. The Whakaruru family described the loss as excruciating and expressed their anger at Slater, feeling the justice system failed them by allowing him to avoid accountability. The court ruled that there was sufficient evidence to confirm Slater's response to have significant behavioral and cognitive deficits, including impulsivity and emotiveness.
In a surprising turn of events, New Zealand's government implemented a secretive strategy to push through a major fair pay reform without public input. Known as Project 10, the plan involved keeping the reform under wrack to government's finances. Internal documents reveal that ministers and staff admitted to bypassing Palmer. The reform, passed in a single day through an emergency process, ended 33 ongoing claims and raised the bar for future ones, requiring proof that a job was to stave over 12.8 billion New Zealand dollars in the next 4 years. However, the sudden and secretive nature of the legislature cite the controversy. The government pressed ahead, highlighting the tension between fiscal responsibility and workers' rights in this polarizing move.
A 3-month-old baby girl was rushed to the hospital with severe injuries suspected to be non-accidental. The infant is now in critical condition at Starship Hospital, and police have launched an investigation, said the injuries are not believed to be accidental, but the case is still in its early stages. Authorities are working closely with child protection agencies and are appealing to the public for any information that could help. Inspector Nick Tom emphasized the emotional impact on the child's family and the community, urging people not to remain silent. The investigation ends ongoing in Fumopre, Kampshen, Daising. This tragic incident has raised serious concerns about infant safety and the importance of reporting suspected abuse or neglect immediately.
The appointment of Nikhil Ravishankar as Air New Zealand's new CEO has sparked a wave of racist backlash online, with major news outlets forced to disable comments on their social media posts. Ravishankar, an Indian origin insider, was chosen to lead the national carrier. However, the decision has drawn intense criticism, with many users targeting his ethnicity in their comments. In response, media organizations One News have taken steps to restrict or disable public comments on posts announcing the news. The backlash has raised serious questions. Upside and Seoul Shai Ravishankar, who has spent nearly 5 years at Air New Zealand, emphasized the airline's deep legacy and its bright future. His appointment highlights the ongoing push for diversity at the top, but the online hostility he has faced deforce the challenges that remain in fostering a more inclusive.
A major earthquake off the coast of Russia triggered tsunami warnings in New Zealand. But those alerts have now been lifted. The National Emergency Management League, the National Archery, has significant fold. Although the immediate danger has passed, the agency is reminding people to stay alert and avoid entering coastal waters until conditions stabilize. Authorities have been monitoring the situation closely and are continuing to assess the long-term effects on the region. With the threat now reduced, the focus is on ensuring that affected communities.
A year has passed since the Abusing Terror Royal Commission called for the abolition of time limits on abuse cases, but the government has yet to take action. Survivors of historic abuse remain trapped by outdated laws that prevent them from seeking justice in civil court under current New Zealand law. However, for many, especially those who experienced abuse in childhood, this period is unrealistic. Trauma and the process of disclosure can take far longer, and many survivors only feel safe to come forward. The Commission's report highlights the profound impact of silence, disbelief. One notable case involved Maria Taylor, a former Air Force servicewoman who was unable to pursue a civil claim against her abuser because the 6-year window had expired. Her case illustrates how these laws can block even well-evidenced claims. Meanwhile, Australia has taken a different approach. In a landmark case, The Australian High Court allowed a civil claim to proceed even after the alleged abuser and witnesses had died. This shows that removing time limits does not guarantee a win for Sasaivin to be heard. The time has come for New Zealand to reform its laws and align with international law.
In a surprising move, New Zealand's government quietly overhauled its pay equity laws without public input. According to recently released internal documents, ministers worked to keep the changes secret and reduce cost to the Crown. The legislation passed under urgency, halting active claims and raising the bar for proving undervying. Critics argue the process was rushed and lacked transparency, with officials acknowledging the potential for unintended consequences. The move, which could save the government $12.8 billion over 4 years, has sparked widespread criticism. Despite the controversy, the government proceeded with the changes, citing fiscal concerns as a key driver.
In the heart of the Eastern Bay of Plenty, a dramatic rescue unfolded during a severe flood. Mark Looney, a seasoned jet boat operator, found himself in a desperate situation when he tried to save a woman stranded on her car as floodwaters surged. His truck became trapped. The incident, which occurred after days of relentless rain, left roads impassable and over 70 people seeking shelter. Looney, with nearly 30 years in search and rescue, had the experience but not the luck. This time his truck was completely submerged, leaving him to face the aftermath. Locals rallied to help free his vehicle, but the true hero of the day was Looney himself. His actions, though costly, underscored the courage and sacrifice of those who serve in emergencies. The flooding, described as the worst in 25 years, tested the resilience of the community, and Looney's story stands as a tester.
In a chilling case that shocked the community, Horry Gage was shot dead in front of his partner and 3 children on a Sunday afternoon in Palmerston North. The murder was carried out by 2 Black Power gang members, Royden Hanga and Robert Richards, who were found guilty in a recent trial. The Crown described the act as cold-blooded retaliation for an unrelated incident involving a senior gang member days earlier. Despite their claims of intent to intimidate, not kill, the jury found both men guilty after reviewing CCTV footage and cell phone data that placed them at the scene. As the legal process moves forward, the community awaits the sentencing of the 2 men who now face life in prison for their roles in this tragic and senseless murder.
It was a night that started with fun and games at a Hāwera Accommodation Complex, but it quickly turned deadly. Jamie Slater, also known as Jamie Shippey, walked into a recreational area with a 20-centimeter chef's knife and fatally stabbed 26-year-old Whatitiri Whakaruru. The incident shocked everyone present, as Whakaruru was a kind and loving young man with a promising future now. A court has ruled that Slater is responsible for the murder, but not for trial. He will be detained in a psychiatric hospital. Instead, the family of Whakaruru is devastated, feeling the justice system outsider. They describe him as a good, honest, and caring young man who had no trace of violence in him. His mother spoke in court about the unbearable loss of her son, who will never have the chance to marry or start a family. His sisters also shared their grief, calling Slater a low-life, cold-hearted coward. The family believes the justice system failed them, and they are left to deal with the pain of a life without their beloved brother. The case highlights the challenges the justice system faces when dealing with individuals with mental health issues and the deep emotional scars left on families.
That's all for today's news. We appreciate your time. If you enjoyed this update, please consider subscribing. Your support helps us keep going.